Nathan Adams and Brandon James wrapping things up here at Spartan Memorial Stadium. And a big night for the Lakeview Spartans. Homecoming night, final home game of the season for them. And looking for win number 2 against a 4-2 St. Joseph Bear squad. They had it in their hands. But the second half kind of came around, and for the St. Joseph Bears, they were able to score a couple of times. 20-12 the final over the Lakeview Spartans tonight.
We saw a lot of defense tonight, and we saw a lot of unique special teams situations. For Lakeview, not so good. For St. Joseph, very good special teams play. Blocked punts, missed PATs, missed field goals. All of it kind of a factor in the game. Lakeview's defense, I would say, was the best out of the 3 facets of the game between the defense, offense, and special teams. But Lakeview did what they've done in a lot of their other losses. Even though they're losing games, they managed to keep it close throughout.
Just a 1-score game this time around, and Lakeview actually had the lead at the half by a score of 12-10. They scored 12 points pretty much in a lapse of about 30 seconds. They were able to put together a long drive, finally ending on a 10-yard run from Justin Ratliff. Then they picked up a fumble on the next play at the 4-yard line, and then Jaden Simonson would score from 4 yards out. But as you mentioned, special teams were a big issue. They did have a field goal blocked in the first quarter. They had 2 extra points blocked, and then they had a punt blocked in the third quarter that would give a score for St. Joe, and that actually put them ahead in the third.
Yeah, that was the go-ahead touchdown for St. Joseph. It was blocked in the end zone, and they recovered it there. And pretty much since then, Lakeview just was not able to put anything together. They gave up 1 more field goal in the fourth quarter and just could not get the offense going again. And St. Joseph was able to beat Lakeview at their own game. In the second quarter, Lakeview had control of the time of possession very well. Well, St. Joseph in the fourth quarter, they controlled the clock, and that eventually is what led them to the victory.
Yep, for Lakeview tonight, Justin Ratliff had about 55 yards total offense, and that 1 rushing touchdown this evening. The other thing that Lakeview has struggled with this year is penalties and turnovers. Last week against Stevensville Lakeshore, they had 7 turnovers. They had 1 turnover, but it was right at the end when they were trying to make that comeback after St. Joe, ironically, missed a field goal and hit off the left upright, and it gave Lakeview at least 1 more shot. But just 2 more plays later, Jack Goodman would throw the interception. Their only turnover of the night.
Yeah, and again, pretty clean game, not too many penalties. Only one penalty that we saw probably shouldn't have been called.
Yep.
It was on a pass interference early in the game. So again, Lakeview did what they needed to do to put themselves in a position to win, just couldn't climb that hurdle and actually make it happen.
Yeah, a bend and don't break defense tonight for Lakeview, and even though they allowed 155 yards for Derek Holowasco, who scored 1 touchdown tonight for St. Joseph, Spartans did look very, very good, even though they are 1-6 tonight.
Yep, it was a good effort, and I think they have a lot to build on, and just get through these last 2 games without any significant injuries and come together a little bit more and see what you're capable of heading into this offseason and getting ready for next year.
Yep, next week Lakeview will be on the road as they will see Loy Norks, and that will be their last divisional contest, and they are actually 1-2 in the division. So with a win over Loy Norks, who is actually 1-6 on the year, might be a more even matchup tonight. Actually, next week for the Spartans.
Yep, and so again, just the 1-6 record, a little bit deceiving because they've had a better season than it looks like in the standings.
And for the St. Joseph Bears, they're now 5-2, and they move 1 win closer to clinching another postseason bid for them. And of course, all the scores from tonight's week number 7 action is scrolling down below. There is 1 more game in the city of Battle Creek. St. Philip and the Fighting Tigers hosting the Bellevue Broncos. 1:30 kickoff at CW Post Field. Homecoming and Hall of Fame afternoon for the St. Philip Fighting Tigers. We usually do the homecoming matchup, but with Michigan State having their homecoming festivities, we won't be able to broadcast that tomorrow afternoon. Of course, we'll get that recap online at 953wbck.com. Next Friday, week number 8, 1 game, and looks like we're probably going to make our way over to Harper Creek as the Beavers play host to the Coldwater Cardinals. Interstate 8 action. Coldwater is now 2-4, actually 2-5, 2-4 in the Interstate 8. Harper Creek, same exact record, so they're pretty much identical.
Yep, playing for pride. Again, a late game in the year, non-playoff bound. And so you just get out there and try to end these last couple games of the season on a good note.
Yep, and of course, we will see you next week, 6:35, 7 o'clock kickoff right here on 95.3 WBCK, online at 953WBCK.com, and of course, check out everything online and on our app, WBCK. Search for it in your app store, and you can listen and also get all the details on our high school sports. We will see you again next Friday from Harper Creek.